What are some big revelations you've had, or the biggest success you've had when developing this story about Blood from Stone?
The biggest success, I mean, the film hasn't come out yet, so I'm really curious to see how people interpret it because, again, it's a weird film. It's not a weird film in like the most overt way. It's not something like, you know, like The Lighthouse, which is such a beautiful, brilliant film, but it's also very obviously like you know going into that it's a different movie. This one is a little bit more subtle in how it's weird, so I'm curious how people are going to respond to it. But for me personally, I don't know about like a revelatory, but the thing I'm the proudest of on a very personal level, it was the first feature I've been the cinematographer on as well, and it had a very complicated visual language. Adeshola, who's here with me, he and I really sat down, like shot listed and storyboarded this whole thing because every shot in it or every scene really is like they overlap and they weave, and a lot of the visual dynamics of it communicate between scenes. Something, you know, the way a shot is composed in one scene speaks to how something's composed in another. What you're seeing in one storyline is complemented or contrasted in another storyline, and the way the storylines interweave. If I butchered some shots, if I didn't get them the way that I'd intended, the film would have completely fallen apart at the seams. So much of the juxtaposition between the interwoven storylines really is what makes some of the dramatic aspects of the film work, and even some of the themes really work. And so when we got a final edit of it and I was watching it back, I'm like, this is absolute insanity and I can't believe it worked. You know, there's almost no establishing shots in the whole movie. There's, I think, 5 establishing shots in the whole film, maybe 4. You know, we closed down Main Street in Las Vegas and had cop cars and all this sort of stuff, and the entire thing is done, other than 2 shots, the entire thing is done on a very tight lens where you only are focused on the one character, even though there's all this chaos going on around him. Just things like that visually were just against the grain, like not how not how you're supposed to shoot a scene, not how you're supposed to, you know, cover it and dissect it and all that, and just believing that what I was seeing in my head was actually going to work, and then coming out on the other side and like, oh, it actually did. You know, is it the most cinematically masterful film ever made? No. But as a visual language, to do something so off kilter and actually have it succeed, I'm quite excited about.